helped me to reach 2,000 subscribers. I remember the exact sound that started it all, the tiny ping at his phone at 2:14 a.m. It wasn't the first time I'd heard it, but something in that sound felt wrong, intrusive, like a whisper from a life I wasn't meant to hear. Daniel slept beside me, his breathing deep and even, while that little screen on his nightstand blinked like a pulse. I told myself not to look. Married 12 years, no major fights, no screaming, no slammed doors. What could I possibly find that I didn't already know? But curiosity, as they say, doesn't come quietly. It scratches. It burns. And before I knew it, I was holding his phone, my reflection distorted in the black glass. The message preview read, "You still up, or did she finally wear you out?" I froze. My stomach turned to ice. The contact name was saved as Mason. But I knew that tone, that teasing playfulness. It wasn't how men text each other. I scrolled up. Another message. "You shouldn't have made me laugh that hard in bed." I nearly woke her. And then a picture. Blurry. Close up. Skin. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just sat there, the glow of his phone washing over me, feeling my marriage unravel pixel by pixel. In the morning, I made coffee. Daniel came down in his robe, yawning, kissing my forehead. "You're up early." "Couldn't sleep," I murmured, watching the dark liquid swirl in my cup. I wondered how people do this, pretend their world hasn't just been split in two. That entire day, I played the part of the dutiful wife, smiling, nodding, laughing when appropriate. My co-workers at the school laughed too when I said Daniel and I never fight. "What's your secret?" they asked. "His patient," I replied automatically. But inside, I was already rewriting our story. That evening, while he was in the shower, I opened his laptop. I didn't need to dig far. Her name wasn't Mason. It was Melissa, his client. I clicked through emails, short, coded exchanges that grew bolder over time. One line caught my eye. "I wish he'd notice you the way I do." It's strange how betrayal doesn't always hit like an explosion. Sometimes it's a slow suffocation, every breath reminding you that you once felt safe. When he came out, towel around his waist, I asked, "Who's Melissa?" He hesitated. "Barely. But I saw it. The flicker." "She's a client," he said smoothly, rubbing his hair dry. "Why?" I looked at him, searching for cracks. "Just curious. You mention her a lot lately." He smiled, casual, jealous. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to say I know. But instead I smiled back. "Maybe." That night, I lay awake, replaying every late meeting, every distracted glance, every unexplained smile. The pieces began fitting together with painful precision. Still, a small part of me hoped I was wrong, that maybe this was just a misunderstanding, a cool trick of my imagination. A week later, I got my answer. It was raining, thin, steady, melancholic. Daniel said he had to meet a client again. I followed. I told myself I was being paranoid, but my hands wouldn't stop shaking on the steering wheel. I parked across from a dim cafe. Through the window, I saw him. He looked younger somehow, lighter. Melissa sat across from him, her hand brushing his. They were laughing, the kind of laugh you save for someone who still excites you. Then, without hesitation, he reached across the table and tucked a strand of her hair behind her ear. The gesture was intimate, practiced. My throat tightened. When he leaned in and kissed her, the world went quiet. The rain blurred everything, but not enough to erase the truth. I didn't confront him that night. Instead, I drove home, turned on every light, and sat in silence. The house felt too big, too filled with echoes of what used to be real. When he came in, dripping wet, he looked startled to see me awake. "Hey, you up?" "Yeah," I said softly. "Did your client need a long meeting?" He frowned. "It went late. Sorry." "Was it Melissa?" The pause was longer this time. Then came the sigh, the slump of his shoulders. "Emily." "Don't." I interrupted. My voice was steady, colder than I'd ever heard it. "Don't lie. I saw you." He sat across from me, guilt pooling in his eyes. "I didn't mean for it to happen. I was lonely. You've been so busy, and she just..." I laughed. A hollow, broken sound. She just what, Daniel? Made you feel special? Like I never could. He reached for my hand. I pulled away. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Only the rain filled the silence, tapping against the windows like a metronome marking the end of something. Finally, I whispered, "Do you love her?" He hesitated. "I don't know." And that somehow hurt more than if he'd said yes. In the days that followed, I moved through the motions like a ghost, teaching classes, folding laundry, answering texts. People still said, "You and Daniel are such a perfect couple." And I still smiled, because perfection, I learned, is often just silence in disguise. One evening, I packed a single suitcase. He watched me from the doorway, eyes red, voice trembling. "Please, Em, don't go. We can fix this." I paused, my hand on the zipper. We can't fix something that was never real. As I stepped out into the cold air, I realized something brutal yet freeing. I had spent years mistaking peace for love and silence for happiness. Now, I would learn the sound of my own voice again. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel afraid.